Good morning, students. Last class we are discussed about the histories. We completed the first bit habitat, their concept and their types. In that we are discussed about the freshwater habitat, marine water habitat, and the estuaries and terrestrial habitat. We are discussed about in previous lectures in depth. Okay, so we are completed the first bit, and the second bit is the ecological niche, and the next one is niche width and the overlap. So in this lecture we will discuss about the ecological niche. Before that, I want to give some instruction and some fact that when you are watching these online lectures, we don't know who is watching these lectures. For that, you have to mention your attendance in your comment box. You have to attend every lecture when we are going to know that you are watching these videos. Okay, you have to comment in the comment box of this video lectures. Okay, after that we are going to attend who is watching these videos. Okay, so after watching this video, you have to comment your name in comment box. Okay, then start with your bit ecological niche. First one is the concept of ecological niche. An ecological niche, in contrast, is the ecological role an organism play within its habitat. What is the characteristic, or what is the concept? First concept is, in contrast, it is the ecological role. What organisms live in that habitat, a particular role played by organisms in their habitat. Okay, then next is the ecological niche describes how a species interact within an ecosystem. The organisms live in that habitat. The organisms require the surrounding environment with their food, shelter, and the other environmental aspects. Okay, so how it interact with the ecosystem, it is called as the ecological niche in a particular habitat. The niche of a species depends on both biotic and abiotic factors. As we know, the biotic factor and the abiotic factor. The biotic factors are the living organisms, and the abiotic factor, air, water, light, is the abiotic factor in that habitat, which affect the ability of a species to survive and endure. If abiotic factor is available in ample amount, means light is available in ample amount, or the water or the other aspects are available in large number, species can survive very well. If abiotic factors are less, or the biotic factors are less, where in abiotic factors there are the producers, consumers, and the predators are there. So in abiotic factor, light, water, air. If this abiotic factors is less in that particular area or the habitat, the species will be faced some problems regarding the survival and the endorsement. Then biotic factors affecting a species niche include food availability and the predators. Where ample amount of food is available, so species can survive, and there is a lot of predators are available or are there in that habitat, then it is very effective to species where they are live. Biotic factors affecting ecological niche include temperature, landscape characteristic, soil nutrients, light, and other non-living factors. Okay, these are the abiotic factors which affect the ecological niche or the species living in their niche, ecological niche. Next one is the term. How ecological niche is discovered? The term niche was for the first time used by Grinnell in 1971 to explain microhabitats. Okay, Grinnell in 1971 he used first time he explained the microhabitats, and later on he discovered the term niche. According to him, niche is the ultimate distributional unit within which each species is held its structural and instinctive limitations. Okay, no two species in the general territory can occupy. Only one species can occupy the particular niche or the habitat, or we can call it as the micro habitat. Okay, then for long identical is the same ecological niche, means same niche cannot occupy the two species, only one species can occupy the same ecological niche. Okay, the niche whose dictionary meaning is a place. The dictionary meaning of niche is the place, employment, or activity for which person is best fitted should never be confused with habitat. Best fitted means where there is a availability of water and the surrounding environment and the availability of the food, so it should never confused with that habitat or with that ecological niche. The ecological niche, on the other hand, is a more inclusive term that involves not only the physical space occupied by the organism but also its functional role. Okay, the species where live in that ecological niche, it is not involve only the physical space occupied by the organism but also the functional role in the community. Okay, that means it is the functional status or the functional role of an organism in its community. According to Odom, niche is the profession of an organism in the community. He compared the habitat to the address and the niche to the protection. Habitat, we are discussed about the three types of habitat: freshwater habitat, marine water habitat, and the terrestrial habitat. But according to Odom, this is the address to the organism. But about ecological niche, it is to the protection to the organism. Okay, then niche refers to the role of organism in the community. It includes what it eats, means available of food, its behavior, how it responds to the environment, and its interaction with the organisms in the community. They are dependent upon each other. So interaction takes place in that community by the organism. An example of an ecological niche is that of the dung beetle. The dung beetle, as its name suggests, consumes dung both in larval and adult form. So the role of the dung beetle is to consume dung both in larval and the adult form. Dung beetle store dung balls in burrows. Okay, the role or the function of the dung is to store the dung balls in a burrows, and females lay eggs within them. Okay, if you see the life cycle of the dung beetles or the behavior of that dung beetles, female lay their eggs on the dung balls in the burrows. So it is the function or it is the role of the dung beetle. Depending upon the availability and depending upon their function, they play a vital role in the ecological niche. Then this allowed hatched larvae immediate access to food. Means why they are laying the eggs on the dung balls? Because the larvae have to immediate access to food. So this is the characteristic of the dung beetles, where how they are access the food in very easy way, so that the females lay the eggs on the dung balls. Okay, the dung beetle in turn influences the surrounding environment by aerating soil and releasing beneficial nutrients. What is the benefit to the environment is by the dung is to aerating the soil. Okay, as we discussed about, dung beetles make the dung balls in the burrows. So they provide the beneficial nutrients to the surrounding environments where they are live. Okay, therefore the dung beetle performs a unique role in its environment. Okay, the definition of a niche has changed since it was first introduced. A field biologist named Joseph Grinnell took the basic concept of the niche and further developed, claiming that a niche distinguished between different species that occupied the same space. Okay, in other words, only one species could have a particular niche. Okay, as we discussed about that, no two species can live in the particular niche or a same niche. Okay, only one species could have a particular niche. He was influenced by species distribution. Okay, by distribution he influenced that only one species could have to a particular niche. Then the importance of ecological niche. Ecologists use the concept of the ecological niche to help understand how communities relate to environmental conditions, fitness, and the trait evolution and the predator-prey interaction. Okay, prey-predator interaction in communities. This becomes ever more important as climate change affects community ecology. Ecological niche allow species to exist in their environment. Okay, under the high conditions, the species will thrive and play or survive and play a unique role. As we discussed the example of a dung beetle, they play an important role. How can they are releasing the nutrients to the environment and aerating the soil. Okay, without the ecological niche, there would be less biodiversity and the ecosystem would not be in a balance. Okay, without ecological niche, this will happen. It affects on the biodiversity, ecosystem, and would be not in a balance of biodiversity and the ecosystem. Interspecies competition. In ecological niche, there is an interspecific competition. Ecologists refer to coexistence when describing ecological niches. Two competing species cannot exist in one ecological niche. As we discussed in last slide, two species or two competing species cannot exist in one ecological niche. This is due to limited resources. Okay, the properties or the characteristic of ecological niche is there is a limited resources available. Because of that, two species or two competitive species or competing species cannot live in a particular or a same ecological niche. Okay, competition affects the fitness of species and can lead to evolutionary changes. An example of interspecific competition is an animal that forages for pollen or nectar from a specific plant species competing with other such animals. Okay, in the case of some species of ants, the insect will compete for nests and prey as well as water and food. Okay, insects require the prey as well as water and the food. They cannot survive or they cannot live in a single or the same ecological niche. Competitive exclusion principle, having that ecologists use the competitive exclusion principle to help understand how species coexist. Okay, the competitive exclusion principle dictates that two species cannot exist, okay, in the same ecological niche. This is due to the competition for resources in a habitat or a ecological niche where the availability of resources is very less or the limited available of resources. Early champions of the competitive exclusion principle were Joseph Grinnell, T.I. Storer, George Gause, and Garrett Hardin in the early and the mid of 20th century. Competition in niche either leads each species to specialize in a different way so as not to use the same resources, okay, or not to use the resources in the same ecological niche. Okay, then it leads one of the competing species to become extinct. This is another way of looking at natural selection. There are two theories used to address competitive exclusion. Two theories are R theory and the P theory. Okay, in R theory, multiple species cannot exist with the same resources unless they differentiate their niches. Okay, multiple species cannot exist with the same resources. As we discussed that only one species can survive in a same ecological niche. So multiple species cannot exist in a same resources or the same ecological niche. When resource density is at its lowest, those species population most limited by the resource will be competitively excluded. Means where resource density is less, so species cannot survive in that place. Two species cannot survive in that place competition is high in that ecological niche in the R theory. So in next is the P theory. Consumers can exist at high density due to having shared enemies. Okay, in a single ecological niche, consumers can exist at a high density rate. Then competition plays out even at the microbial level also. For example, if Paramecium aurelia and Paramecium cordatum are grown together, they will compete for resources. These microbes will be compared for resources. Paramecium aurelia will eventually overtake Paramecium cordatum and cause it go to extinct. Okay, because of that availability of less amount of the resources, they are going to extinct in stage. Okay, because of the competition in the same ecological niche. Then examples of ecological niche. Lion and deer live in the same forest. Lion and deer live in the same forest community, but lion is a carnivore and deer is a herbivore. So they can live and they can survive because lion is a carnivore and the deer is a herbivore. They are dependent upon each other. Means the herbivore means it is deer is depending upon the producers and the lion is dependent upon the deer. The food of lion is the deer and the food of deer is the producers or the grasses. Then next example is elephant, rabbit and deer are the three types of organisms in a forest community. Okay, elephant, rabbit and deer, these three are the herbivores, are the three types of organisms in a forest community. All these are herbivores, but they occupy different niches. Why it is? Because they feed on a large trees, or means elephant feeds on large trees, deer feed on shrubs and rabbit feed on herbs and grasses. Their food is different. Okay, they are producers. The food of these three types of organisms having their food is the producers, means elephant feeds on large trees, deer feeds on shrubs and rabbit feeds on herbs and grasses. That's why their ecological niche is different because food type is different. Then next example is man occupies the herbivorous niche in some regions. He occupies a carnivore niche in a certain place. As we know that we are dividing this in herbivorous, carnivorous and the omnivorous. He occupies, means man occupies omnivore niche in most of the places. We are both occupying the niches and we are the omnivorous. Okay, we can eat, we can feed the herbivorous and as well as the we are play role as a carnivore also. So both togetherly we can call it as a omnivorous. Several examples of ecological niche exist in various ecosystems. The next example is in the jack pine forest of Michigan forest, the Kirtland warbler occupies an area ideally suited for the bird. It is suited for the bird. The bird prefers nesting on the ground between the trees. They prefer to nest in between the trees, ground between the trees, not in them. Okay, not in them means not on the trees, among small undergrowth. okay, among the small undergrowth, because only one species can live in the space or the live in the place in a same ecological niche. Bird can survive. They nest between the trees on ground. Okay, but the jack pine tree must be only up to 8 years old. Okay, the age of that jack pine tree is the only 8 years old and around 5 feet tall. Once the tree ages or grows taller, the Kirtland's warbler, means the bird Kirtland warbler, will not thrive or will not be survive on that tree. Okay, once the tree grows taller, the Kirtland warbler cannot be survive on that ecological niche or the place. These highly specialized kinds of niches can be put at great risk due to human development. Okay, due to human development, trees will be cut and there is a there will be a no any tree in that place because of the human development. Desert plants such as succulents adapted to arid ecological niches by storing water in their leaves and growing long roots. Unlike most plants, succulents open up their stomata only at night so as to reduce water loss for scorching daytime heat. Means these plants open their stomata only at night time where there is no light, so water is cannot be lost. They reduce the water loss from scorching daytime heat. Thermophiles are organisms that thrive in extreme ecological niches such as thermal vents with high temperature. Then the next bit is the types of niche. According to Odom in 1971 says that an ecological niche consists of three divisions, namely first one is the spatial niche, second one is the tropical niche, third one is the multidimensional or hypervolume niche. So one by one we discuss. First one is the habitat niche, or we can call it as the spatial niche. This type of niche pertains to the physical space occupied by the organism. Okay, thus a habitat occupied by many species. Each species is confined to a microhabitat. Okay, as we discussed about that, the only one living organisms can survive in a microhabitat or a ecological or same ecological niche. Okay, a microhabitat we can call it as a subdivision of the habitat. Okay, two species cannot occupy the same ecological niche. As we discussed about that, two species cannot be occupy the same ecological niche. So the ecological niche is called that we can call it as a microhabitat. O'Neill in 1968 has given an interesting example of the spatial niche. That is, he identified 7 species of millipedes. He identified 7 species of millipedes living in the forest floor of maple oak forest. Okay, these all 7 species occur in the same general habitat. It is occurred the 7 new species O'Neill identified the 7 new species occurred in the same general habitat, that is forest floor, and all belong to the same basic trophic level. That is trophic level means it is all are decomposers in their role as detritivores. Okay, millipedes are the hot decomposers in their role as a detritivores. But each of 7 species predominates in a different microhabitat, that is predominates in the heartwood or the hardwood, at center of logs, superficial wood, and another is the outer surface of the logs beneath the bark. Under log but on the log surface. Under log but on the surface of the log. Under the log but on ground surface. Means there is a 7 species, so they live in the log surface. Some are living in the log surface, some are on ground, or some are under the log. Within leaves of litter and beneath litter on ground surface. Okay, as we discussed that the two species cannot, or two or more species cannot live in the same ecological niche. So here the living habitat or the microhabitat of these 7 species are the some are living on the log surface under log, some are living on the ground surface under the log, some are living in the living on the leaves of litter and the beneath litter and on the ground surface. Then next is the trophical or niche or the trophic niche. It is concerned with the trophic position of an organism. Two species living in the same habitat. Many occupy different trophic niches because of different food habits. Okay, as we discussed about, if their food habits are different, so they can live in the same habitat but not in a same ecological niche. If their food is same, so they can't live there in the same habitat. But if their food habits is different, their food is different, so they can live on a same habitat. Okay, example is two aquatic bugs, Notonecta and Coryxa, live in the same pond but occupy different trophic niches. Okay, they are live in the same habitat or the same ecological niche, but they occupy different trophic niche. The Notonecta is an active predator that swims about grasping, eating other animals, but the Coryxa feed mainly on decaying vegetation. So their trophic niches are different and their food habit is different. Species with identical trophic niches tend to drive each other extinct, means unless they can differ in some other aspects of their population or the regulation, one which is not encoded in feeding interactions, for instance using different refuges. Okay, importantly, when species are lost in an ecological community due to the overexploitation or range shifts, the species which used to either feed on or be eaten by them experience a reduction in their trophic niche. In turn, their likelihood of going extinct increases if they feed or they use to eat or feed on the same ecological niche. The effect of this role of that living organism is to reduce or reduction in their trophical niche. In turn, their likelihood of going extinct, the species living in that place is going to extinct. In case this makes them more similar in their trophic niche to some other still extinct species. Okay, then third one is the multi-dimensional or the hypervolume niche. It is known as the fundamental niche. We can call it as the fundamental niche or the multi-dimensional zone, also known as a hypervolume. Environmental tolerance, in which an individual can potentially survive, or in which a species can maintain viable population. However, in a natural ecosystem, species are rarely faced with habitat opportunities. Rarely faced with the habitat opportunities that are only defined by the boundaries of their tolerance of diverse environmental facts. The actual utilization of the fundamental niche is also significantly influenced by ecological interactions of various sorts. For example, other species may have similar tolerance. As we discussed about the trophic and the spatial niche, they are similar tolerance of environmental factors. These species in the multidimensional niche or the hypervolume niche, these species will seek to utilize some portion of the environmental opportunities that are available. What is available in that place, they are potentially survive in that particular habitat or the ecological niche. Okay, resulting in available of that food opportunities, resulting in the ecological interaction known as a competition. They are converted into the competition. There is a lot of competition in that multidimensional or the hypervolume niche. Okay, because they are potentially live or the survive in that niche. We can call it as the multidimensional niche. Competition exerts a very important influence on the ability of species to optimally exploit their fundamental niche and on the structure have very similar fundamental niches. Then competition between them will be intense. Okay, competition will be in them will be in intense level. In extreme cases, this can cause one species to be eliminated. If competition is more, so one species cannot survive in that place, so it will be eliminated from that place or the habitat from the community through a process known as the competitive exclusion. If competition is more, one of the species or one of the animal cannot live in that place or same ecological niche. It is the type of multidimensional niche in that competition exclusion takes place. Then next class we will discuss about the niche width and overlap. Okay, so comment on comment box your name with the class, so we will give I conclude that you are attending this lecture. Okay, thank you. Next class we are discussed about the niche width and overlap. Okay, thank you.